It's Best from Best Services Unlimited, and today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to help you choose the right tax professional this tax season. Um, they're building an audience, so we're going to give a chance for people to come in. Just want to say, I hope everyone had a great day today. For some people, it's a very short week. New Year's is around the corner. I want everybody to be able to turn up, but don't turn up not too much. So, let's just give it a couple of more minutes, and then we're going to be talking 5 tips that is going to help you choose the right tax professional this tax season. And while I'm doing that, let me get a chance so I can share it to someone that I know wanted to hear what was going on. All right. Okay. I was able to share it out to a couple of people. So here we go. Let us get started. Well, everybody knows that I am a tax accountant. I have an MBA in accounting, but I am not going to try to be a CPA. That is not my desire. A shout out to all the CPAs out there. I appreciate what you do, but that is not my intent. I am one exam away from becoming an enrolled agent with the IRS because that is where I want to help people. There's a lot of people out there who are being taken advantage of by unscrupulous tax professionals who are having a lot of IRS debt. So I want to help those people lower the amount of money that they may have to pay back to the IRS, and also continue to educate people so they don't have these problems, or allow someone to talk them into doing something with their taxes that may cause them a problem later on. So let's start with tip number 1. Tip number 1. Whoever you choose to do your tax return this year, there is a database. The IRS has a directory of tax preparers with credentials. You can look up their name on that database, and if they're not there, that is the first tip. May not be the person that you want to choose to do your tax return. Reason being, although the program is voluntary, I do want to make that disclaimer. Being on the database is voluntary. However, it shows that this person is one, getting CPE credits, continuing education credits every year to make sure that they're staying updated with IRS tax law as it changes. And the laws change every year, and now we have President Trump, so they may change every minute. So you want to be knowing what's going on, and that's one of the indicators. They are getting CPE credits that are from the IRS, and you're going to be able to see it because that's the only way they're going to be able to get on the directory. Number two is that they're going to swear an oath saying that they are going to abide by what is called the Circular 230. It's a set of rules and ethical standards, whereas people who are taking this oath are knowing that they are not going to be doing any type of flim-flam with the returns, and the IRS is taking their word for it. And this is the second way of how they get onto the database. So first they're getting their CPE credits, then they are taking and swearing this oath with the IRS saying that they're going to abide by the Circular 230 rules and regulations. So tip number 1, you want to have a person who is on that database. Now, if you happen to go by their tax office, there's things that you should see, so you will be able to know for sure that they're not giving you any flim-flam. So tip number 1, you go to their office. They should have a paper around their office that looks like this. Let me hold it up for you. Should look something like this. Have something on there that says 2016 continuing education credits, It may be from the IRS form. This is where I went in Orlando this year during the summer. And it should have a list of the classes that they took. It may be from another provider, because some people don't go to the IRS form. There's a lot of other people that's doing continuing education credits. But the main thing you want to look for is a symbol that looks like this one right here, that says the education is by a approved person that is by the IRS, approved continuing education provider. Look for that symbol on the paperwork that they give you. And that way you'll know that wherever they went to school at, it was from and deemed by the IRS. Now, they may say, okay, you go there, they have CPE credits. You're like, okay, you learned something this summer. I'm feeling a little bit better. What else you should be looking for? Step number 2. They should have something in their office that looks like this. 2017 Annual Filing Season Record of Completion. They should have something like that with their name on it. And you could look for things like this symbol right here that says IRS Internal Revenue Service. This is part of the Return Preparer Office. And it'll have the signature. And it'll tell you the effective date, which should be 1/1/2017. Now, this will also be able to have, they should have this hanging in their office that lets you know that should be listed on the IRS Directory. But again, these are pieces of paper. People could, get these off of the internet because people post them and they can make them. So for you, you're going to not only look for the stuff that's hanging in their office, you're going to also go to the IRS website and check their name on the database. So that's tip number 1 and 2, CPE credits, and they should have the annual filing season record of completion in their office. Then you're going to also be able to check on the website to make sure their name is there. Now, tip number 3. Everybody know that it is 2017 coming up next week. And if someone has a return and they're telling you you have to mail it in, that is indicator number 3. That is not the person that you should have doing your returns. They've been e-filing returns since the 90s. There is no reason why you should have to leave your office with paperwork to mail in to e-file, to file to the IRS by mail. First of all, if anyone who's getting paid to do returns already know when you mailing them in, there's a special form that has to be filled out now called a 8453 that says, why are you mailing this return in? Because we already know we e-file, so why are you mailing it in? There's no reason for you to mail it in to us. And even if you have multiple state returns, like somebody moves from one state to another state, you can still e-file all your states as well as your federal. So that's another indicator for someone you might want to choose wisely if they're telling you, oh yeah, come to my office and you have to mail in your return. You shouldn't have to mail it in. So tip number 4. There's a lot of people who may want to pay for their return out of their refund. And if most people who are doing returns have an e-fin, they got tax software, they're able to offer bank products. Now, this is a choice of the provider. I would just say that I would rather have a provider that allows me to have the choice to pay out of my refund. Some people like to pay up front in cash. I have a lot of clients, they like to pay in cash. But there are some clients I know that likes to have the ability to pay for their refund out of, pay for their tax preparation out of their refund, which is sometimes can be important to them. And if you don't have that choice, you need to ask why. Because see, this is another indicator. Because people who have e-fins and have tax software usually have bank products. Now, you may have somebody who e-files returns, but they're not using professional software. There's people out there buying TurboTaxes, opening up tax offices, filing people's returns with TurboTax, e-filing them, but you have to pay them up front. So that might be another indicator that that may not be the person you want to choose to do your tax return. Whew. And last but not least, Someone in another group I saw made a post about combining income from 2014 and 2015 together and filing the return, and the tax preparer was fine with it. Everybody loves to play with the numbers because Uncle Sam is not your uncle, so they like to play with the numbers. But the main thing you do not want to do, if you go into the tax office and your tax preparer is immediately having you try to talk you into doing something you already know you should not be doing, that may not be the person you want to do your tax return. Let me explain why. When you have the tax return, no matter what the tax professional tells you to do, once you sign the return becomes your responsibility. Now, when you put your name on it, and if it comes back, you are going to be the one that's responsible to pay. You can cry out and say that the preparer told me to do this, and they may get in trouble too, but not at the end of the day. You will be the one that is going to be held responsible for whatever flim-flam they talked you into. So just be careful, because a lot of things are changing, especially with these credits, earned income tax credit, the additional child tax credit, as well as the American Opportunity Credit. And they even took and revised a special form called the 8867 to include all three of those credits on the form, because they wanted to make sure when you sign off on that form that you are attesting that the information that you're giving to the tax professional is true and correct. And if you want to know all you have to do is Google it, Form 8867, and just read the questions that's on there, so you'll know when they telling you, hey, I could give you the college credit, but you haven't been to school all year, and they have a school they could put on there. Please know what you're agreeing to, because there's going to be penalties, not only for you as a taxpayer, but against the tax professional as well. So that's my 5 tips. 1, make sure that the person is on the IRS website. 2, that you check their CPE credits. 3, you look around their office and see if they got the paperwork hanging up there that you want to see. 1, CPE credits. 2, their certificate from the annual filing season from the IRS. Tip number 3, making sure that you can e-file your return, because it's going to be 2017. They've been e-filing since the 90s, so don't let them tell you have to mail your return in. 4, that they should have some type of bank product available. That way you know that they're using professional software, and that you can have the ability to pay for your refund out of your tax preparation fees out of your refund. And if they don't have them, just find out why. Because you want to make sure that they using professional tax software, not doing the flim-flam, using TurboTax and doing your taxes and charging you for it. And then 5, making sure that you don't let these people talk you into something that later on you'll be paying for who knows how long. Because at the end of the day, that money from the IRS is just not worth it. They don't give out enough money on the refunds for you to be getting caught up with the flim-flam. Just not necessary. And especially they got the new PATH Act and all these stuff they're putting in to put all these returns into scrutiny and looking over them as with a fine-tooth comb. They hired a whole bunch of auditors so they could audit the returns. And you have to understand, if you are still an employee of a company with a W-2, it's you guys that get audited the most. They don't audit corporations. And if you're doing Schedule C's, they auditing those the most as well. They're letting everyone, people who doing corporate returns, 1120s, 1065s, 990s for the nonprofits, they're not looking at those as much as they look at the ones that are filed by employees. So you just got to be careful, because they know they could get their money from you. You're going to go to work. You're going to have to work. They could garnish your wages and get their money. So they already know what it is. So with that, I just want to tell all of y'all, just be careful this tax season. You know, ID theft is higher than it ever been before. So you just want to be careful about who you're giving your personal information to. And just keep these tips in mind. So in case you want to take and do something or use someone other than using TurboTax or this new Credit Karma tax, just make sure that the person you giving your information to you can trust. And sometimes don't always just go with the person that says, oh, well, I know that guy or that girl, because you just got to be careful now, because tax season is coming and there's going to be people setting up in their basement doing taxes. So just be careful about who you give your personal information to. Just be careful about even the people who refer you to somebody who's giving you the information. Ask questions. It's your right to ask questions, to know the credentials of the person that you're giving your information to. And I just want to thank everybody out here for their time. Please enjoy the rest of your week. Please enjoy your New Year's. I'll probably come on and talk to you before then. But just remember these tips. Share them. Talk to your people, your contacts, your networks about it. Because this ID theft game is no joke. And I just don't want to see no one get caught up with the flim flam. So just make sure you go around and look at the credentials of the people that's doing your returns, and look around their office and ask them questions. And if you see any of the things that I'm telling you on this video that you don't see, ask why. Why it's not here? Where you been at? What did you learn last year? Why you not part of the annual filing season? Why I don't see any certificates up in this office? What's going on? Why? What do you mean I have to mail in my return? They've been e-filing since the 1990s. What's going on? Ask questions. You have a right. Just don't. And if you go to the office and you, even after they complete your return,